Welcome back to the floor of the CME Group here in Chicago, Friday, March 11th. I'm Killer from Treasury Curve. Treasury Curve is an institutional money market portal. We assist firms with their overnight cash management. Let's get into the zone, the CMZ zone. Japan, wow, what a curveball this has been for the market today. After coming off the whole Saudi Arabia situation in a substantial down day, this overnight earthquake, the largest earthquake in Japan in over 140 years. True tragedy. Hearts go out to all the folks over there, and unfortunately the death toll is growing exponentially. Every hour we hear about more, and this has also created a tsunami, which is now coming over to possibly the western seaboard of the United States. There's a lot of moving parts here, folks. Japan is the third largest importer of oil, so we saw the initial hit of crude oil down to $99. This is momentary. Right after the Saudi Arabia situation, oil was back up yesterday a little bit in that fear of those rubber bullets flying around. So that has really become the paramount issue today, Japan. And I think there's two ways to look at this crude oil situation. One, obviously, being the third largest importer, the supply is not going to be there initially. But on the flip side, and the other argument is that the recovery efforts, they're going to need more oil than ever for the trucks and all the recovery situation. So we'll see how this pans out today. But we're seeing a big choppy trade, in the Treasury market. Let's talk Treasuries for a second. We saw a flight to quality bid yesterday after a tremendous auction in the 30-year. They really came and broke out of that range. I tweeted yesterday, and you can get me on my Twitter @TheKiller, but that 119.13, that was that weekly pivot. We got above there, we never looked back. They really ripped them up, an overnight high of 121.04. Currently we've come off that level when we've seen actually the S&P come back, and that S&P, that March 50-day moving average, 1299.75, that kind of seems to be a ceiling now. It's the first time we have closed underneath the 50-day moving average. Most of the volume right now is in the June contract, but I want to still talk a little bit about the March. We saw that March 1283 level. That was kind of an old target there, and we bounced off that. So currently we're about unchanged on the day, but we're trying to look for information. Obviously, everything's looking at Japan. That nuclear power plant, what are the ramifications of there? There's a cooling pond that kind of overflowed, but we don't know damage, and more importantly, the infrastructure damage to Japan. The European currency, we're seeing it up right now. So there's a lot going on, folks. It's a crucial day, especially coming out of the Middle East. Let's see how this pans out today, but good luck, Jay, but be careful. On a day like this, you need to pare down your size and be nimble, because any given moment, new information can come out. From the floor of the CME today, be careful, and one thing, be the hammer, not the nail.